Welcome to Excel Boats on the X Podcast, powered by Mud Buddy Motors.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
The only podcast to bring you insights on the world of hunting, fishing, and boating. With your host, J. Paul Jackson.
You don't say much, do you?
Now, load up and sight in. This is On the X.
Welcome to the Excel Boats on the X podcast, powered by Mud Buddy Motors. This afternoon, I'm back here, J. Paul Jackson, with my co-host Dave Reynolds, and we also have a very special guest, Mud Buddy and Excel Boats own Glade Harris. How's it going, guys?
Going good.
It's going good.
Good to see you again.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, and hopefully I'll see you with some ducks involved before long, because, man, it's coming up on that time of year.
Man, we had our youth hunt yesterday, or this last weekend, actually, 2 days ago.
How'd Jack do?
He did good. If there were more ducks, he would have done better. But it was a fun hunt. I mean, it was 90 degrees Saturday, so I had a couple hours in the morning where the birds are flying, and because it's been so dang warm and hot here, there weren't a lot of ducks, but we had a great time. We shot a few. Zoe it was her last youth hunt, so that was sort of sentimental, sort of sad. Just be me and Jack from here on out, but it was fun. Good to get the season underway and get some shooting in it.
Yeah, I saw a picture of Zoe the other day. She just had a birthday, so I guess she ate the youth hunt and stuff. But, man, what a beautiful young lady. You've got to be super proud of her.
Yeah, she's been a great girl, straight A's, and loves to hunt. And, what better can I ask for? It was a busy day Saturday. We had the youth hunt, and then we had to rush home, and then she had a horse show that afternoon. So busy life. Keep me active.
Chasing them around. How about for you, Glade? You getting ready for duck season?
Yeah, I'm just kind of closing up my big game hunting for the year. And fishing, so another 2 weeks, and our regular season opens, so we'll start getting after it.
That sounds so crazy to hear you talk about closing up your big game season, and bow season for deer just began here. I mean, our big game season throughout the Southeast, it hadn't even started yet.
We start middle of August.
Yeah, middle of August, and most of the archery hunts close around the middle of September. In Idaho, they go till the end of September. So, yeah, been pounding the hills like crazy. So I'm ready to start my winter coat and start eating ding dongs and ho hos from the gas station.
Good duck hunting diet.
Yeah.
Sausages. Yeah. I like good stuff.
Yeah. I got 2 or 3 cans of Vienna sausages in my blind bag pretty much at all time. What are you talking about? Saltine crackers, Vienna sausages, maybe a little bit of cheese. Oh yeah. And you're both looking awfully lean, and dang, Dave, I saw a picture of you from the last cycling event of the season. Dude, you were like all just muscle and bone, and that's it. No fat. You're going to freeze your ass off come duck season.
I got some time to fatten up. Yeah, that was an 8-hour mountain bike race. Actually, I've done 3 mountain bike races in the last month and a half, a total of 28 hours.
Holy smoke.
So, yeah, I'll start fattening up. I'll work on it. If not, I got some nice warm Sitka clothing. So
let me tell you,
if I don't have the fat.
I don't know about you, Glade, but I'd have to have a big mean sucker chasing me for me to ride a bicycle 28 hours.
Yeah. The only exercise that I get this time of year is forced, chasing animals up and down the mountains. Yeah, I don't do anything for sport.
And speaking of animals that can turn around and chase you, tell me about your gator hunt.
Yeah, what an awesome experience. So we went with our it's a Mud Buddy XL backwater performance dealer in Central Florida, Fast Duck Motors. He had us out there for about a week, and it was tough. In Florida, it's different than other places in the country. Most other places you can shoot them with a rifle, you can catch them on a bait hook. In Florida, you have to snag them with either a big snatch hook or a weighted treble hook on a fishing rod. So you basically kind of idle around. Yeah. idle around the marsh, just seeing them float up on the surface. And, hopefully you can get close enough to where you can cast this big giant treble hook over their back and snag them. And at that point, it's game on.
It's going to be a battle. I know at least with snag salmon, I mean, you snag a fish accidentally, of course, and it's hard to land them because you don't have any control of them, especially when you snag their back. I mean, they could go anywhere. When you snag them in the mouth, at least you have some control. I can imagine an alligator snagging that thing in the back. Holy crap.
Yeah. So we hunted really, really hard morning and night for 5 days. The water was so deep that we couldn't really find the alligators. When they would sink down, they would move. So we extended the trip one day, went to a different spot, and it's kind of the same thing. We saw one out there 300 yards, idled up to it, and we got about 100 yards away and it sunk. So we kind of just, went to where we thought it might be and just started blindly casting this big giant treble hook on the bottom and dragging it across the bottom. On about the 15th cast or something like that, all hell broke loose, and that thing, it almost spooled me twice. I of course hooked it right on the tail. So, I have zero leverage. He can do whatever he wants. It was a 10-foot alligator. Who probably weighed 350 pounds. It was quite the battle.
But did you land it?
We did. So you get one hook in it and fight it and try to kind of tire it out. If somebody else on the boat tries to also get a second fishing rod and treble hook into it, so you have two in case one of them falls out. So we got 2 hooks in it, finally got it close, but it still would not come up off the bottom. We're in 7 feet of water or so, and we could not get it lifted up off the bottom. Well, Sid, Fast Duck Motors, is 6'6" and 300 pounds. Said, "Give me that rod," and starts horsing on it and pulling it, and the rod snapped in half.
Oh man!
And these are big, giant, big game rods, huge rods. Snapped that in half. So now it was really crazy. That pissed off the alligator. We finally got
you wasn't pissed off already.
Yeah. Like I said while we were there, I think I agitated his medulla oblongata.
Yeah.
He was upset. Finally got him with a big giant snatch hook. Got him close to the boat. Hit him with a harpoon. So now we had 4 lines in him. Finally able to hoist him up close to the boat, and then hit him with a bang stick in the back of the head. So that's how they do it in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. We were filming the whole thing, so we had the pressure of all that. Stayed an extra day. The closing time is 10 a.m. You cannot hunt them past 10 a.m. And it was about 9 by the time we finally got this thing, and we were flying out in a couple hours. So just in the nick of time, we got it done.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. We were in
Yeah.
We were in an 1860 F4 with a 5,000 on it. We had 4 guys in there, all of the alligator gear, the alligator, 350 pounds, and we were still doing 27, 28 miles an hour across the marsh. Pretty wild.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Of course, it had a BPS package, I'm sure, on the motor.
It had all the Q muffler and whatnot, and the BPS heads. But it was just a Mud Buddy 5000. Yep. Pretty
impressive.
wild. Yeah.
I've got a guy that's going to be calling you later today, Glade. He's wanting an 1854 with a 5,000. He runs about 285, and his hunting partner runs about 260, and their dog runs about 90. And he's concerned about, on an 1854, that 5,000 being able to get 30 miles an hour or better. I don't think they should be concerned at all.
No, yeah, we can fix them up. That's what we do. We're not here to build stuff to go racing and beat your buddy. We're building stuff to put your corn-fed guys and your biscuit-fed labs in the boat, and get them up on plane and get to your spots and make sure you get home at the end of the hunt.
And doing a great job doing that as well.
Yeah, man, we're busy as can be. Lots of stuff is on a little bit of a wait because of how fast we're selling this stuff. So, if you guys are looking for performance parts, then hit us up now before your actual season starts.
Yeah, I know that, the lead time's not as bad on the Mud Buddy motors as it is on our Excel boats, but it's amazing to me how the combination has just blown up this year. I mean, Dave, have you ever seen us with more boats on order?
No, never. No. Our bay boat sales typically slow down this time of the year, allowing us just to focus on the F4s, but bay boat sales haven't slowed down. And of course, the F4 sales are just continue to grow. We're signing on new and bigger dealers, and there's just demand for the F4 is just out of the roof. And I think there's good water conditions this year. I mean, you guys have been getting a lot of rain. I think that'll help. Pretty good forecast for duck hunting this year, and duck hunters are always optimistic, anyways. But no, it's I've never seen it this busy before at Excel. Certainly this time of the year.
Yeah, I know. I'm very optimistic. I'll tell you what, we've had some cooler temperatures. We've got a bunch of rain. Matter of fact, I saw the sun just a second ago for the first time since Friday afternoon here. So 4 straight days of rain and these cool temps. Yeah, man, I'm jacked up and ready for it to start.
Yeah. Did you get any of the lingering effects of the hurricane in Tennessee?
We didn't. We were very fortunate here. Everything went north of us and tracked. I don't know if the way those systems move, that is affecting what we're having now. It seems like we've got a system that's just kind of stalled out over us and dumped quite a bit of rain, but I don't think it has much to do with the hurricane. And we're fortunate because, I've got friends just in our neighboring state, North Carolina. Of course, say from Tennessee to North Carolina, it sounds like you're neighbors, but if you live in Eastern Carolina and you live in Western Tennessee, you're 12, 14 hours apart. So there is a huge gap because both states are so long and narrow, or wide, and I should say. But I talked to our pro staffer, Sophie Swaney, last Thursday. She was still at her folks' home in Memphis, and she lives in Jacksonville, which is one of the towns in North Carolina that was hit hardest. They received during the hurricane like 50 inches of rain. And she's talking about being sometime late next week before they can return home. So,
Sophie lives in Jacksonville?
Yep, Jacksonville, North Carolina. That's where she's
born in Jacksonville.
Really?
Camp Lejeune. Yeah.
What an interesting piece of trivia.
Naval Hospital in Camp Lejeune. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that is Sophie's temporary home while she's in school, and she can't get there. I mean, it's, they've told her, don't even think about coming home until the end of the month. They're coming back.
Wow.
A lot of the residents that evacuated. So, don't really think that's going to have a big impact on our duck season here. I think having rain now is probably helping us. A lot of times, last couple of years, we've been very, very dry in the last couple of months for duck season. Getting great reports from teal hunting. I had some buddies in Mississippi and in Arkansas both last week call me and say, man, you've got to come down here, Louisiana. Those guys are hitting the blue wing really, really hard. So usually that's a good indication for us also of how our duck season is going to be. I know on years when we tend to whack them hard in September on the blue wings, we get into the ducks pretty good in December and January. So,
good. Well, we got the opposite weather pattern here. Up north where I do a lot of hunting, it's been, I think, in the middle of last week, it was 93 days without rain. So now it's, 98 days without rain in certain parts of Utah, northern Utah.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
What's the Salt Lake look like?
Drought, big drought.
Desert. You've seen the Bonneville Salt Flats? That's pretty much what the Great Salt Lake looks like, most of it. It's down. I think it's down a foot or two from where it was last year. It might be historic low right now. I'm not sure. Pretty darn close.
Wildfires. Yeah, crazy wildfires because of the drought. So, yeah, we're in a world of hurt here.
Oh yeah, my sons missed soccer games. Our vet has even told my daughter not to ride her horse when it's smoky. If you go outside and you smell smoke, it is not good for your lungs, or obviously a horse's lungs either. So it's canceled all kinds of outdoor events. It's been so bad, smoky, dry.
Wow. All right. So Glade, question for you. You know that area off the causeway there that you took Rocky and I, and we hunted out of the layout boats with our buddies from Camp Chef?
Yeah.
Is it dry now?
It mostly is. There's a little channel, just like a river channel, that pours through there now. It used to look south behind Antelope Island, and it was a giant lake. You couldn't see the end of it, but now it's just almost a river channel that just pours through there. So we won't be doing any of that kind of hunting in that spot this year for sure.
Unless something drastically changes.
Right.
Yeah, it's too late for that anyway. I mean, it could rain every day from here until January and still wouldn't have enough rain to fill up the Great Salt Lake. Yep. Especially with all of the the growth in Utah and other big cities around here. Our government thinks that they have failed if a single drop of water reaches the Great Salt Lake. They want to try to use it all up for agriculture and water people's lawns and everything else, and don't really care about the birds or any of the wetlands.
That's crazy. But I guess with everything so shallow, that makes having performance parts and stuff available even more important.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's where that's why we started doing this to begin with. That's why Glenn did this in his garage 25 years ago, is for the need to run in shallow water to duck hunt. If duck hunter found ducks or heard there was ducks on the moon, he would figure out a way to build our spaceship to get to the moon to kill those ducks. So yeah, we build these performance packages so you can spin a bigger prop that helps you get up on plane faster in the super shallow water. We've got these hammer props that guys are using for big loads, and you've got to have some performance parts to push that prop. But that's the main, the key for that prop is getting yourself up on plane real fast, and that way you're not trudging and burning up your prop. It just pops you up on plane right now, and you're gone.
Yeah, and I've ran both the Hammer and the Raptor, and man, they both work great. They just have different uses. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? So if I'm a guy that's, I'm looking for speed, I'm usually running light, don't have a lot of weight in the boat. I'm running a 40 or 4400 or a 50. Which prop am I looking for? I want to get a good hole shot and get good speed.
Yeah, I would say the Raptor for that. The three blade props, the biggest selling point for the three blade props is balance. They're more balanced than a two blade, which is going to save you from things like cracked mufflers and out of balance shafts and loose nuts and bolts and things like that. A guy that's light loads, using it in the summer, using it in deeper water with vegetation, things like that, the Raptor prop is the one you want to go with by far. The Hammer prop is, like I was saying before, it's meant for getting heavy loads up on plane in shallow water fast. It's not going to have the top speed like the Raptor or the Big Blade will, but it's going to get you up on plane fast, and you're not having to worry about wearing out your prop in the mud, sand, and you're up on plane immediately. That's we've also got the Big Blade prop, which is kind of it's a little bit faster than the Hammer is, and it's not going to quite get you up on plane as fast as the Hammer will. It's kind of like, as far as performance goes, it's kind of in between the Hammer and the Raptor, but it's still a two blade, and the Raptor will still be balanced better than any two blade will.
Cool. That's a great overview. What's your favorite offering that you guys have from BPS for these motors, or Mud Buddies?
So our most popular things by far are mufflers. It's a heavily debated topic, and everybody has their own opinion on what works better and what it boils down to we've built and sold more Q mufflers than any other performance muffler on the planet combined. They give you a boost in horsepower, boost in RPMs. They're stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about them rusting out. They've got the flex fittings, so you don't have to worry about them cracking. They're almost as quiet as stock. They just have a little bit deeper tone. The Q muffler is, by far the best one out on the market. If you are a guy that wants to try to get as much horsepower as you can, and you're in an area that's not filled with houses and things like that, we also sell the rapid muffler. It's a bit louder, and it also gives you a little bit more horsepower. But it's it's a little bit louder. It's for the guys that are out in the open, don't have to worry about making neighbors upset, that kind of thing.
And that's become a big deal.
Yep. We're constantly on the R&D in different mufflers. So keep your eyes out in the future for a performance muffler offering that's even quieter than stock. So we're working on it.
Be anxious to see that one. I know a lot of guys in Arkansas will.
We're getting close. We're getting close to having one.
Yep, we're working on it. It's the more you baffle something, the more you choke it down, the less airflow, the less power it makes. So we've gotten pretty creative and employed some pretty serious engineering to try to come up with a solution. But it's coming. We're working on it.
That's great. I can't wait to see one, get one on one of my boats down the road here.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the bad thing about us being so far apart. I don't get to play with our stuff enough. You've got it made out there. I'm so jealous of both of you guys. Something new comes out, I see you out there on the water right off the bat. That's got to be a great benefit to working there.
Yeah, there's definitely some perks. Field testing, especially in the fall. Sorry, I got to go out field testing.
My wife doesn't always believe that answer, but I always try to sell her on it.
Somebody's got to do it.
I can see myself having to field test a bunch during a certain 60-day period coming up.
Oh, yeah. It has to be during that time frame. Yeah.
Dang, Dave.
Yeah.
Sorry you were trying to reach me in the office and couldn't get me. I was out field testing today. By the way, do you need some ducks?
Well, you have to make it out this fall, J. Paul, and do some field testing with us.
I want to really, really bad. I'll tell you what. And Glade, I'd like last year, of course, it was a terrible day. I'm embarrassed by that day now, but I'd really like to get you down at my place in Marvel, Arkansas as well. I had Dave and Bill last year. It was a lot of fun. It had to be the worst day of the year at that club, but
well, I don't know if bringing me is going to help that situation. I usually bring the bad luck with me.
Well, it was 60 degrees, overcast, spitting a little bit of rain, and no wind.
Not much wind. Well, actually, as I remember, what was frustrating is there were quite a few ducks, but they would not pay us attention at all. They would not get within 80 yards of our spread. There wasn't a huge shortage of ducks, which even makes it more frustrating. It's different when you're out there and not seeing anything. It's even more frustrating is when you're seeing a lot of ducks. You just can't get them to commit, not even get close.
Yeah, or when you're the designated caller like I was that day, and you can't get them to even slow down, crane their neck, stop a wing beat. I mean, you talk
that's
about.
Right. I remember that. You were the designated. Well, therein lies the problem, man.
Hey, you remember what Little Bill told me after about 15 minutes of straight calling? Glade, we had a guy from down there, a good friend of all of ours named Little Bill, and you just have to know him. He is vintage Southern Arkansas for sure. And finally, he looks up at me and he says, J. Paul, you've been blowing that call for about 15 minutes straight. And obviously, you're just impressing the hell out of the ducks because they're slowing down so much.
Is this on a waterfowl management area that's affected by the new out-of-state rules?
No, this is on my own private lease and my best pit. And we're sitting there and the next group come by us and I call them again and Bill looks at me and says, yep, impressed the hell out of them too, didn't you?
And this private lease just happened to be Buck Gardner's place.
Yeah.
No, it's got some ducks. It's in a good area.
Yes, it's Buck's. Actually, my clubhouse is Buck owns it and leases it to us, and Buck hunts with the sum. Although I didn't feel too bad because it was shortly after that Buck and I had a couple of Navy SEALs on a day with the same weather conditions, except we did kill a few because we had a little bit of wind. But Buck tried to work 2 or 3 groups in a row, and then one of the Navy SEALs turned and looked at him and says, "Buck, maybe you ought to get that world championship trophy and show them, and that'd make a difference."
Hey, those Navy SEALs could have got out of Browning 50.
Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you, one of these guys was a radio operator and the other was a sniper. And the radio operator was an even better shot than the sniper, and they were both lights out. It was pretty doggone impressive. And they both looked like they'd been chiseled out of the side of a mountain also. Yeah, they had muscles on their ears, but they were the nicest pig suckers. They were the nicest, politest young guys. But when they started making fun of Buck, we all laughed.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Get insulted, But we had a great time out there, and I hope to get you down to hunt with us sometime this year. And of course, you'll be back in January, I guess, Dave.
Sure, I'll be back in January. Yeah, field testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a fun time. Good to. It's just so different hunting out there than hunting here in Utah. I enjoy it.
That's what me and Rocky said about our trip to Utah. It's just so different hunting out there.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you have trees there. Our marsh is here. I don't even know if you could see a tree within sight.
No, not real trees.
No. It's a different world, just entirely different.
Yeah. A lot of our marsh doesn't even see water.
Yeah.
Doesn't have water right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, Glade, if you need an out-of-state field tester for backwater performance system parts here in the upcoming weeks, just give me a shout. I'll be more than happy to come out there and give you a Southerner's perspective.
You got it, man. No, yep. I need as many testers as I can get. We got all sorts of stuff planned, coming, so you got it.
In addition to mufflers, you offer blinds, boat blinds.
We do. Yep. We've got the fast grass and the shaggy blind. The fast grass is kind of a natural woven palm leaf. It's good for, cattails and tules and phragmites, things like that, where you're pulling up into the bushes. We've also got the shaggy blind, which is like a kind of a ghillie suit material. It's mostly synthetic ghillie suit material. They both function the same way as it's kind of like a scissor blind. It comes up and there's a channel down the middle of the boat for you, kind of your head to pop up out of. When the birds are coming, you just kind of hunker down a little bit. And then we also leave a spot on the bow of the boat open for the dog to sit. The blinds come with extra pieces of material. You can cover up a dog blind or however you want to use them. But we've got both of those blinds in stock. You can see a million pictures of them on our website, backwaterperformance.com.
I use a fast grass blind. It's awesome. That thing will disappear in the marsh. Yeah, I've had, 13 years before I had to replace the grass.
Wow.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're pretty durable. You take care of the grass and dry it out after it rains. Now it'll last a long time. It's a great blind. I love it. It's just quick and easy to set up, easy to travel on the highway. The one thing, I get guys, don't you have anything overhead, coverage? It's like, well, how are you going to shoot if you got overhead coverage? By the time the ducks are that close, you should be shooting anyways. But they're a very good, both of them are great blinds, real versatile.
Yeah. And there's kind of a tip that I like to tell people if they've got a new one is get it all built and set up and set it up like you're going to hunt out of it and spray it down with the hose and let it dry, and do that about 5 times. Let it sit out in the sun for a couple days, just keep spraying it, letting it dry. and it'll make the grass go from a kind of a bright yellow color to a more natural tan. And it blends in a lot better everywhere you go. Yeah, we use the actual real fast grass, which is there's 20 different kinds of woven palm leaf mats out there on the market, and there is not a single one that's anywhere close to the real fast grass.
Yeah, that was the original fast grass. It's been around for a long time. It's good stuff. Much better than all the other. I mean, there's some grasses that have real wide leaves, and they're just hard to work with, hard to fold, how to, what's nice too is you get extra panels, grass panels. You put one on the bow of the boat, one on the back of the boat. If you're only hunting a couple people, we put one in the middle of the boat, and with some extra grass panels, man, that thing, you'll just disappear.
Yeah, for sure. You walk around a big box sporting goods store and see the stuff that they've got there, and just bend one of the leaves on it, and it just crumbles in your hands. This fast grass is it'll last you 10
13 years I got out of mine.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about BPS products. I mean, Glade and the guys there at BPS, you guys, everything that you put into them that you get aftermarket is quality. I mean, you're certainly not shirking on any of your components all along the way. And, that's very evident from, our mufflers that are so well constructed and don't crack, to the fast grass that you put on your blinds, to, the paints that we use on our boats and on our accessories as well. And that commitment to quality, I think, is a huge deal. I'll tell you, for those guys out there listening that aren't familiar with backwater performance systems, you need to go check out the website, backwaterperformancesystems.com. And we've talked about, trolling motor mounts and fast grass blinds and mufflers, but there's a whole wide array of products that BPS offers, not just for our Excel boats, but that also can be used on our competitors as well. And some really cool stuff that you're making out there in Salt Lake City, Glade.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Our whole entire business is nothing but performance parts, accessories, and replacement parts for duck boats. We've got 8 full-time employees here. That's all we do is think of ways that we can make your duck boat better, faster, or hide better from the ducks, or you name it. That's all we do all day long is try to figure out a better mousetrap. And performance parts are all, we go the extra mile and make sure they're all CNC machined or the hand lapped. There's a million different processes that we go through to make sure that ours are a step above the competitions, for sure.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, listen, guys, I've kept you for a while from your job there, Glade. Always great to have you on, though, and look forward to doing some hunting with you either in Utah or Arkansas soon. Dave, I'll be seeing you, I know, in a few weeks, either there or here for sure. Got your annual trek planned.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the 3 of us can get together in a duck blind.
Hey, man, I'd love it. I'd love it for sure. And you name the date, I'll be there.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, guys, it's been great having you on here. And what do we got coming up, Dave, in guest? I think we got Bill Wilroth from...
Bill Wilroth from Dakota Decoys. He's going to be at the plant in about a week and a half to pick up his 1854 F4 center console. So might be a good opportunity. Maybe you can meet him there and maybe do a Facebook Live with him and a podcast at the same time. Who else we got? Probably Bird Dog Waterfowl schedule.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun one that we did last year. Looking forward to that. And Bill from Dakota Decoys, and probably going to try to have Ryan from Camp Chef back pretty soon with us. Either he or Scott Laysath visited again, talk a little bit of cooking. That was great having both of them on recently. And speaking of decoys as well, for you guys that listen to the podcast regularly, as we prepare coming into duck season on our Excel boat site and perhaps our Mud Buddy site as well, we're going to be doing some Facebook Lives. Our marketing guys, Jeffrey Whitlock there in the home office, and Dave Glade and I are both contributing as well. We're gonna be sharing in some Facebook Lives some of our favorite decoy setups for those Dakota decoys, and how trying to give you a little bit of informative information on how you can set up most effectively depending on the type of situation that you're hunting. I know in the rice fields there in Arkansas, I really like a pinwheel setup if you're on a levee that's in the middle of the rice paddies, and a lot of people have no clue what that's about. So talk about that. The J hook. Glade, what's your favorite pattern?
A lot of times we have a hard time hiding anywhere for geese. So our decoy setup usually depends on where we get to hide. I try to almost never hunt in the middle of the field. It almost never works on these educated birds. So we'll set up in a fence row or some bushes or some taller vegetation that the mower didn't hit. So it just kind of depends on the wind and where we can find that blind. But I like setting up small family groups of geese and trying to get them, in the pocket.
How about you, Dave?
Well, as far as a marsh spread, probably the horseshoe, and that's always seems to work well. Put a bunch of teal in close and a group of ducks upwind, group of ducks downwind, have a nice landing zone for them with a horseshoe. Could work in variable wind conditions if the wind changes on you, with the exception of wind in your face. But that's always my go-to is,
Amen.
The horseshoe. Throw some feeders or some motion decoys in the middle of the hole, create some motion.
Well, there are a whole lot of variables out there. I think it'll be really interesting as we share our decoy setups that we like to. My go-to is probably the J hook most of the time, which is a variation on your horseshoe. So be watching our social media, particularly Facebook. We're going to have some Facebook Lives coming up on decoy spreads and setup. Some really interesting guests coming back up over the next few weeks. And maybe we'll have you back again too, Glade. And until next time, I'm J. Paul Jackson, Dave Reynolds, and Glade Harris. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Excel Boats on the X podcast, powered by Mud Buddy Motors.